Hi everyone, today we're going to be looking at the drawing technique 2-point perspective. So I'm going to be talking you through what a 2-point perspective drawing is, and then I'm going to be showing you how to complete one of these types of drawings. So if you remember last lesson we looked at a 1-point perspective drawing, and this is where we have a horizon line. So we have our horizontal line, and on that line we have one point known as the vanishing point, and the diagonal lines of our drawing, or the object that we're drawing, they all go towards that one vanishing point. A 2-point perspective drawing isn't that different. The only difference is, rather than having one vanishing point on the horizon line, we have two vanishing points on the horizon line, and the diagonal lines of our drawing will go to either one of those vanishing points. So if you have a look at the two example drawings on task as part of task 1, you can see what I mean by that. So that horizontal line is a horizon line, and for both of those drawings there are two vanishing points, and the diagonal lines go to either one of those vanishing points. So for this task, I want you to take a look at those example drawings, think about my explanation that I've just given, and I want you to write a sentence explaining what 2-point perspective drawing is. And you can use those keywords just to help you. So vertical line, horizon line, and vanishing point. It doesn't have to be lots of text, just a sentence is fine. Task 2, so here you're going to have a go at drawing a 3D cube in the style of 2-point perspective. And I've got a video clip of me completing this task just to help you. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my horizon line. So I'm drawing my horizontal line, and then I'm going to put a vanishing point on either end of that line. So two vanishing points, because this is 2-point perspective. I'm then going to draw a line going roughly down the middle, so vertically down from the center of that horizontal line. Then I'm going to draw two diagonal lines going to either vanishing point, and it's going to look a little bit like an arrow. And this is going to start to form the kind of front edge of my cube. So it doesn't look much like a cube at the moment, but it will start to take shape. Now I'm going to draw two parallel lines from that center line, and that's going to give me two of the faces of my 3D cube. So you can see it's starting to take shape. From the top of those two parallel lines, I'm going to draw diagonal lines going to the vanishing points, and you can see now it is starting to look like a 3D cube. Now all I really need to do is I can rub out my guidelines. You don't have to rub out your guidelines, but if you want to, you can rub out your guidelines and then perhaps redraw over the lines that you want to keep. So task 3, you need to draw a street corner in 2-point perspective, and it's pretty simple really. It's exactly the same technique that you've used for task 2, drawing your 3D cube in 2-point perspective drawing. And then the only thing that I do in my demonstration, which I'm going to show just now, is I've added some taller and some shorter buildings, and then I add in some detail as well. So I add in some windows to my street corner, I add in the street itself, and then some doorways too. So in my video clip, the first thing I'm doing here is I'm adding a taller building. So I'm just drawing a longer vertical line next to my existing cube, and then joining up those vertical lines to either of the vanishing points. Shorter building, exactly the same technique, but I'm drawing a smaller or a shorter vertical line next to my existing cube, and then joining that up to the two vanishing points. I'm going to put in a few more buildings here, so I'm putting in a taller building next to my shorter one, and essentially that's all you need to do. It's just adding shorter or longer vertical lines, and then adding the tops of those vertical lines to the vanishing points. I'm just tidying my drawing up here a little bit now by rubbing out the guidelines and then going over some of my some of the lines I want to keep with a fine liner. If you don't have a fine liner, don't worry too much, but if you do, it's pretty useful just for helping your drawing stand out from the page. And as you can see now, it's looking like a series of tall and short 3D buildings, 3D cubes. So what I can now start to do with these is start thinking about adding in some detail so it really does look like a street corner. So adding in doors and windows, really it's exactly the same technique as when I was drawing the cubes. So I'm drawing a vertical line, which is how high I want my doors to be, and then I join that vertical line to the vanishing point, and then I can add in the other vertical lines of the door. And that's exactly the same with the windows. So I just draw a vertical line where I want my window to be, and then join that to the vanishing point. And I can do that for all my windows and doors. Here I'm adding a bit of lots of windows for this one. And it's exactly the same technique. So drawing where I want it to go, and then I can draw my horizontal or diagonal lines going to the vanishing point. Adding on a street corner. And you can add in as much detail as you like, really. So I'm putting in some road markings here. You can add in some cars, trees, people. I'm adding in a sign on top of the building just to make it really, look a bit more realistic and look a bit more like a street corner. This is as far as I took mine, but it would be great if you do have any colouring pencils, think about rendering in your street corners, make them detailed and really bring them to life. As per usual, if you could submit a photo of your finished work by the end of the day, so by 5 o'clock on the day of your lesson. If you don't quite finish this task, this street corner task, if you are really getting into it and you need a bit more time, just send a photo of what you've completed so far. Thanks very much, and next week we'll be looking at a new drawing technique.